One of my favorite sayings that I've begun telling myself, I think it's been a few years now. I don't know where I heard this from or if it's something I came up with on my own, but it's a simple concept. It's four words. It's good idea, wrong time. You have to pick the right time to do these things in your business because you might have a great idea, but your business maybe isn't ready for that, or you're not ready. So I just heard Jeff Bezos talk about this the other day. So I thought this was the video that I would make for you guys because he talked about this concept of releasing work. Because you, as a barbershop owner, can actually destroy your business with too many good ideas, right? And good is relative, right? Because I actually think that you can have a good idea, but pick the wrong time to implement it, and it ends up destroying your business, or you were not ready for that, right? So the way I think about this now is there's nothing wrong with having ideas. If you're a business owner like me, or you're a barber that's super entrepreneurial, you have a ton of ideas, even if you work for somebody else, you, this will be helpful for you too, because you have to understand that if you work for somebody else, if you work for a different barbershop owner, or you're the barbershop owner, just because you have an idea or somebody gives you an idea doesn't necessarily mean that you should implement it. Maybe you wait. Maybe you don't do it at all. I've done this so many times now that it's why I came up with this saying, good idea, wrong time. Because there's so many things that, and I can give you guys some examples that the ideas that I've had that are just like, we're just not ready for that yet. Or where we did try it and it didn't work because we weren't in a position to execute on that idea. Or the idea was just a bad idea to begin with. I'm going to give you like a silly analogy just to kind of explain to you exactly what I mean. So, what I mean by good idea, wrong time. Is it a bad idea to cross the road, to cross from one sidewalk, cross a road where cars come by to go to the other? By itself, that's not a bad idea. But is there a wrong time to cross a road? I would argue yes, because there could be a car, a bus, a truck on the way. And if you want to avoid getting hit, you probably want to think twice, look both ways before you cross. So, implementing a good idea at the wrong time is the equivalent of trying to cross the road without looking both ways and then getting hit by a bus. You can destroy your business with too many good ideas. So, you have to pick the right idea at the right time. And I can give you an example of how I've been through this as a barbershop owner. For example, a lot of people ask us, when are we going to do our own product line? Well, I've looked into it and I've realized that right now is probably not the time to do that. Because when you start looking into creating your own product lines, you realize that if you want to do it the right way, the minimum order quantity for some of these products is like 5,000 units, right? And we have two barbershops. And that's of one SKU. So if we'd have to get 5,000, if we want pomade, if we want gel, if we want shampoo, we'd have to get 5,000 of each. So right now, I would argue at the scale that we're at as a barbershop with only two locations, now is not the right time to be thinking about investing in our own product line. And I even look at businesses that are 100 times larger than ours, like Sport Clips and Great Clips. And some of them don't even have their own product lines and they make multiple $1 billion a year. So there's different ways you could do it. You could private label, but that's just an example of it's a great idea, I think, to have your own product line. Why sell somebody else's stuff when you can just have your own stuff and pocket all that? But a lot of people don't take that into account, that the minimum order quantity is 5,000 units. Those products might go bad sitting in your storage room before you ever get a chance to sell through them all. So you have to think about, here's another example, right? So our second location is doing really well now, but we actually opened that during COVID in 2020, and at a time where, like, I would argue, even without COVID, our business was not ready to expand. So it was a good idea. There's nothing wrong with opening a second barbershop or a third barbershop or expanding in general, but there is a wrong time to do it. And the wrong time, I would argue, is when you don't have the skill to do it. You don't have the resources to do it, which was the case for us. Now we were able to make it successful even despite opening in the middle of a pandemic, but I would not recommend it. I would not recommend doing that. You want to pick the right time to put these good ideas into place in your business is the main point of this video. And I think, I've studied success a lot. I've read hundreds of books. I've had coaches, mentors that were way further ahead than me. And I think if I had to boil down to what is the formula of success, I think it really comes down to three things. I think it is luck, skill, and timing. And then I think you could argue that timing isn't even necessary because once you have the skill, then timing, you'll know when the right time is, right? Like now I have a much better idea of when we go to open another location, since we went through that before of opening too early. I know what it's like, okay, because I have more skill now. This is where we need to be as a business so that I can say that this is now a good idea and it is the right time. So that is the hard part of being a barbershop owner. Like, it is so easy to come up with ideas. Your team is always giving you ideas. Your barbershop owner, or you, if you're the barbershop owner, probably don't need more ideas. It is harder to say no. That's what really focus is just saying no, eliminating all other options and saying, we're not going to do anything else until we get these things right. And only when we get these things right and then we're in the right position, then we'll execute on that thing. It's so much easier said than done, but that is, I think, how you test the maturity of a business owner or just a person is, are they willing to say no? If you have to be willing to say no to yourself as a barbershop owner, you have to be willing to say no to your team. And it's not always just like no forever. It's just like, that's a great idea. We're not ready for that right now. But in the future, we're going to circle back to that. So, and it can be difficult because some of your barbers, if you own a barbershop, may think that you're being closed-minded or you don't want to grow. And it's just that, no, we've been through this before. We don't need more good ideas. Chances are, if you work for somebody else, if you work for another barbershop owner, the barbershop owner probably does not need more ideas. They probably need more help just executing better on the stuff that they already asked you to do in the first place. Better haircuts, more clients, better marketing, better retention, increased sales. Like, our business is not complicated. I think we sometimes make it a lot more complicated than it has to be. It's just do a good haircut, provide good customer service, try to get the client to come back, and when they come back, you do it again. Simple, not easy. So we tend to overcomplicate these things sometimes, but this has been super helpful for me. Good idea, wrong time. I say that to myself now whenever I have a good idea. And, just if you have a good idea, write it down somewhere so you don't forget about it, save it. And then when you feel like you got some extra mental energy, or if your business is in a point where you can start to maybe think about implementing something new, then go to your good ideas list and pick which one you think is that you guys are ready for, And then you might find, if you wait on it, that like, oh, you know what? That wasn't necessarily a good idea to begin with. So we're not even going to do that. You just delete it off your list. Okay. Now, I said that I think it's three things that lead to success as a barbershop owner. It's luck, skill, and timing. You will know when's the right time when you get more skill. The luck is something you can't control. Like, we were lucky that we made it through COVID, I think, right? We fought hard to do it, but we also had some luck on our side. The skill is something that you can absolutely change, though. You absolutely have control over that. And one of the ways you could do that is I have a free Barber Mastermind group. It's 100% free to join if you want to learn the skills to help grow your business. The link to it is or in the bio where you're watching this. It's called the Barber Mastermind. It's 100% free to join and to be inside the community. There's courses inside, as well as thousands of other barbers and barbershop owners that can help you decide if this is a good idea and the right time or the wrong time. So bounce your ideas off people in there, learn some skills. There's courses inside if you want access to those. The link to that is in my bio if you're interested, but these are the things that saved me tons of time and headache and money, because this is the kind of stuff I wish I had when I was getting started. So before you implement anything new in your business, I would caution you to think, is this the right time? It might be a great idea. It just might not be the right time. So ask yourself that the next time you go, before you implement anything new. Use this when you're talking to your team. And I think you might find, at least it's been helpful for me. I hope it's helpful for you too. See you next time.
Put me in front of a whiteboard and I can come up with 100 ideas in half an hour. And early in Amazon's history, Jeff Wilke came to me one day. He worked for Amazon for a quarter of a century, but this is when he probably knew me only for a year. And he said, Jeff, you have enough ideas to destroy Amazon. And this was such a shocking idea for me. You know, as a founder, I had the great luxury of always being able to hire my tutors. They would hire these experienced senior executives, brilliant people like Diego and Jeff Wilke, and there were several others too. And I would listen to them, and they would teach me. And Jeff said, you have enough ideas per minute, per day, per week to destroy Amazon. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you have to release the work at the right rate that the organization can accept it. And he was a manufacturing expert. And so, you know, his view of the world was every time I released an idea, I was creating a backlog, a queue, work in process. And because it was just stacking up, it was adding no value. And in fact, it was creating distraction. And so he said, look, you have to figure out when to release these new ideas at a rate that the organization can accept them. And this was, I mean, this sounds so obvious, but it was not obvious at the time to me. And this was a profound insight for me. And so I started prioritizing the ideas better, keeping lists of them, keeping them to myself until the organization was ready for the ideas. And then I also started figuring out, how can I build an organization that can be ready for more ideas? That's about having the right senior team and the right leadership and getting those people the executive bandwidth so that they could do more ideas per unit time. And so, and that is what we built. We built a company that's very good at inventing and doing more than one thing at a time. And you do want to build, as the company gets bigger, you do want to be able to do more than one thing at a time. But that idea of releasing the work was very profound for me. And it made us operationally more effective while still being inventive.
And you think you're a better inventor on the back of that? So the actual inventions that...
Probably, because it also forces you, if you are releasing the ideas through time, it forces you to prioritize them better. You end up sharpening the ideas better. And so, yeah, it probably does. But you have to wander. Thank you.